we're back. We had a little interruption.
No, like what you were talking about earlier, like having them actually tell you, okay, well, we see that we're doing this wrong or this is not working. I think that's a great.
And we don't necessarily go take it from whose fault it is. We just say, how are y'all feeling about this? What do you feel is going on? No pointing fingers, but what do you feel is going on?
Then we can pull in objectively, because we, objective summaries and objective so we can talk about. We can even pull content into that one.
Okay.
And that's kind of a stretch, but it'd be.
Well, I was on Tumblr last night, and I've subscribed to a few teaching blogs just to see, and sometimes they'll put stories, and they said, we had a teachable moment today. I dropped my pen, and I realized I hadn't put it where I should have put it last time, and so I told my kindergartners, this is why you put it where it's supposed to be. And she said, then I had a student come in and say, I realized that I should have put my robot back where I keep it normally. I learned my lesson. I was like, well, dang. Okay, I'm learning.
Have you looked up Love Teach?
Loveteach.com.
I don't know if that's, I don't know what it's, but it's the title of the blog's Love Teach. She's hilarious. She's a middle school teacher.
Oh, okay.
It's hilarious.
Oh,
but it has all the stories. It has like teachable. It's great. But I really like that one.
Okay, cool.
Side note.
No, it's okay. Side note. Good side note.
But I think you did. Graded you proficient for differentiated instruction because I know you put the game in there and having them work collaboratively. We talked about how the kids were grouped based upon. Okay, just leave it on the. Just leave it right there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Keep talking.
Okay, fine. Based upon.
Yeah.
Each team had different varying levels of kids in there, and in each group, and so they had to work collaboratively. But you had something where,
which I thank you for.
You're welcome. On the board, we had your Jeopardy game. It's interactive. It's different things. It's something they can all work together with, and so I felt like you differentiated that in that respect, and in the fact that afternoon we're going to do it slightly differently because it's a different class. They're on a way different level, and so.
Yes. And for the camera, since I haven't done this yet, I'm going to be doing my reflection, so you'll hear how it went, but we're going to be doing Jeopardy, but instead of having it be competitive, everyone's just going to write down the answer. If they get it right, they get the points. If they don't get it right, then they don't get the points. So that way we may get ties, but it's not competitive because they can't handle competitive, clearly.
But one thing we talked about is why it's differentiation, I feel like behaviorally, is because, not only does it help behavior whatnot, but those kids, because they're at a lower level, that's going to help them really work together and write it down and different things like that.
And
so
focus.
And so it's going to be a fun way to keep them. And plus it's a Friday. The kids are always kind of, let's own on Friday.
I should change the movie quotes though, shouldn't I? Jaws was okay. Wizard of Oz was okay.
I think it's fine if they want to do the 500 that one, but change it to something maybe they might know.
Yeah, I need to change it.
We can do it later. No big deal.
Citizen Kane was way too hard.
Let's see. Students with learning differences or needs. I put you proficient because I know that was your intention. We did the pre-quizzes, and so therefore you knew exactly what kids knew what, and what you needed to delve in on. With the verbals, no one really knew anything except for one kid who didn't go to here last year.
Yeah.
And that's you took those needs and you're like, okay, now I'm going to see that the differences here we talked about already is in my advanced class, most of them were able to answer your questions right off the bat.
Yeah.
And with the last class, I know they're going to be a little bit slower. There's going to be one or two kids that will be able to get it.
And so I'm going to add more to the PowerPoint.
Yeah. So that's, I feel like because you're going to make that change in the last class, and we saw where we talked about that yesterday or Wednesday or something. I know we talked about the differences in each class. You've already kind of planned for that.
Okay.
I graded you on basic for the multiple perspectives. I feel like there wasn't a lot. I don't think that was really your fault though.
Okay.
Because I feel like with verbals, it's kind of hard to put a different perspectives
on grammar.
On grammar. So I didn't know what to grade you on that one because I feel like, if you had the opportunity, you would have done so, but there wasn't really any opportunity. So I didn't want to grade you insufficient because I feel like you would have done so if there was opportunity. If that makes any sense?
No, it does make sense.
Okay.
And I
was like, I gave you basic for it.
See, the thing is, the fact that you're explaining it gives my instructor, who is watching this, she just needs to have an awareness of what's going on.
That's really hard. Maybe, but you you did bring in Spanish when you talked about infinitives.
Well, that's the only way I could really think, because I didn't even
You probably didn't know the flight. You probably didn't realize it, but I feel like maybe that's why I gave you basic, because you mentioned the Spanish in there.
Well, because I mean that's the only way I really knew about infinitives was
Yeah,
because
me too.
I mean I know I learned about it, I'm sure, when I was in middle school, but I didn't care about the grammar. I cared about the story. So it's clearly that's where I excel in life. I care about writing and I care about the stories and details. But grammar, I was like, okay, I'm just doing this because I have to do this. And I'm getting A's because I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
But then when I actually took French, I was like, oh, infinitive. Oh, I get it now. Okay.
You brought in the other language. So, I mean, technically that's a different perspective on infinitives. So you even did that with infinitives. There you go.
I'm trying to link it to life. And they will learn about it for their life because everybody should learn a second language. So.
I agree. For English language learners, I grade you basic for the same reason. We don't have any ELL kids, but I know if we had any,
I'm sure I would have tried to do something.
You would have done something, but we don't have any of those kids.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a really hard standard to grade someone on if they don't have ELL kids, or maybe put like an NA on the box. Just
hey, no, that's a good point. Yeah. So
that one, I mean, she should get graded down on because I don't have any ELL kids.
Okay.
Having a box for NA, like this doesn't apply to this, would be great.
I'm glad that you said that, and I'm sure that the platform will take that into consideration. So, they are constantly changing stuff. So this is good, and I think if we've covered everything, that should.
I think that's it. Oh, I do want to compliment you though. I got told earlier you got out from behind the computer and walked around a little bit, and so that's a step. And so
I did that purposefully, and it felt so awkward.
It didn't look awkward. You can look at me. I mean, when you watch the video, you're like, oh man, it feels so awkward. But it wasn't awkward. You slowly just did it, and that's great. And I like that you were able to take whatever I give you each week, and you try to play every single week. Okay, now I did this, now I need to apply it. So I'm seeing that growth, and that's exactly what you need to do. You need to be a sponge, and you are a sponge. So.
And I'm crying as it's coming out.
You have holes, so. It's going to have to come out somehow.
Well, cool. I know we ran over time for that. Well, whatever. I'll fix it. All right. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, there we go. All right. Begin the dissection.
Okay. No, like you said, you are so hard on yourself. Like it's.
I'd start with that.
No, and so that's what I'm saying. You're so hard on yourself, and that's okay. That means you really care about this, and that's okay.
Okay.
And like, you'll see the video. It wasn't bad. I graded you for the value students. I think I already talked to you about this, but like, I think the value between the students and you, or the respect between you and the students and vice versa, is really good. I mean, they respect you and you respect them, and I see that, and that's evident in everything you do. We did talk about the student-to-student interaction today in the Jeopardy game. With those games, it's so hard because they get so excited. They love playing games, and I mean that's the reason why you chose it, because you knew they'd like it and it'd be really engaging for them, and they were engaged. They were very engaged.
Yeah, but for the wrong reasons.
They just get too competitive. I'm very competitive, and so therefore we had those arguments in between the kids about who pushed the buzzer first and different things like that. And so fostering that respect isn't going to be held basically on that one game. That comes from, me setting the expectations at the beginning of the year and different things like that. So there's a lot of different elements that go into it. So that's one thing I already talked to you about is before we play a game like that or any activity that's going to be out of the norm, make sure to go over those expectations and the procedures for how you're going to do it. Model it. Have the kids practice it, because once they know what they're expected to do, that's what you hold them to, and you be consistent in that nature, so therefore they are held accountable for their own actions. And like I said, I suggested also, like, even if you didn't do that at the beginning, you notice, okay, we're obviously having some conflict between whatnot. Let's pause here and let's talk about it. What can we do to make this run effectively, because right now it's not running all that smoothly. And so just having the conversation with the kids and coming up with expectations mutually or at the same time together, would be really good.
Okay.
And then at that time, I also talked about earlier is then that's still not working, or you have to just think on your feet. Okay, obviously this isn't working. We're going to stop. We've tried talking about it. We're going to have to do something different with the activity, because we can't follow those guidelines we've laid out before.
Okay.
And just kind of talking through it with those kids will be really good, because, and then I guess I told them in the middle thing, I'm like, how to act I know you've played Jeopardy in other classes. but in the other classes, they might have acted the exact same way they did here. And so because I'm not in there, I don't know.
Do you think it would have been bad if I just had a sudden thought, if
Yeah.
I had asked them to, if we could huddle up for a second and then just talk about what's not working?
That would be excellent.
Because I just thought to myself, I tend to relate to things very emotionally, because that's I'm an INFP,
Yep.
that's how it works. And I thought, if we could just make the blockage go away and get everyone on the same page, then we can continue on.
Yes, that'd be perfect.
Because it's like I have a hard time giving orders when I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on. So getting them to talk, even if that takes time away from that activity, that's still important.
It's very important because that's a life lesson they're gonna have to learn it sometimes. You just gotta teach life lessons. Like that's not how you act in, the professional world, because and so having those
Right. We're
Men-
pausing the video.